Hello everyone, and welcome back to G.I. June on Jesse Heck Creative. Today we're going over the Baroness with her coil motorcycle. Let's get to it. So first, going over the coil motorcycle really quick, just some articulation for it. The wheels spin, that's pretty nice. There is metal holding it together, which is kind of a shame. I wish it was all plastic. This can rotate up here. These can also move on a ball joint right over here, up there. These move around. They can sort of like go up and down, however you want. They're little weapons. You can take them off, actually, on both sides and use them for anyone you'd like. They actually look pretty cool, and they do have a, holding portion with a trigger right over here. That's pretty nice. This little futuristic kind of gun. You can have the Baroness even dual wield them if you like. Putting that right over here. There are a lot of holes for the screws, and I hate that on this. This is actually the better way to display it on this side. The kickstand goes down, but isn't really all that effective or anything. You can put it up and it sticks well here. I just wish it stuck down here better than it would. It's very flimsy and not really that great. There's footholds here and here for it, and the top is a little sort of frosty translucent kind of. You can kind of see my finger behind it a little bit. There's a little bit of green on the bottom. This cool eyeball insignia. I don't know what that means. It's just kind of weird. Looks like an eye in a way. The Cobra sigil right over here. Another mirrored Cobra sigil right over here. The bottom of the bike is just, it's a bike. It looks very toyetic and kind of, not lame, but I don't know. It just doesn't look as cool as I want it to be. I don't know what this yellow thing is either. It's kind of weird. Nothing over here as far as yellow goes on this side. So it's just on one side, a tiny little yellow bit. I'm not sure what this means. It looks cool though, and spinning it, that's what I gotta say about it. 0.01 right over here. 100.01 right over here. Sort of really little sort of just like vroom looking thing. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. Some futuristic designs, going across the bike. It's silver, black and red. There isn't really much to say about it other than that it looks cool. This does move though, a tiny bit for some reason. I'm not sure why. The seat is textured, which is pretty nice. And it's just a cool bike. That's all I gotta say. It looks neat. The top will scratch a little bit if you do scratch it, so just be careful. And yeah, that's the coil bike. It isn't really all that much to look at, but it gave us the Baroness, so we're gonna check her right after the break. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. So here's the Baroness all decked out. She's really cool. I put a bunch of extra stuff on her, so let's go over all that real quick just to get everything off of her. I have this little knife right here. It has a Cobra on the top. It's very well detailed. Looks very nice. I got a second knife right over here. She only comes with the one. I got a little parts pack that somebody just gave me, so that's neat. I gave her two little knives. That's pretty cool. They come with little Cobras right over here. They're very thin, very small, kind of easy to lose, but you can just easily holster it right over here or have her hold it in her hand. I would put in the blade first. Ouchie. Up here. There we go. The snake should be pointing backwards. It'd be cool if it pointed forwards. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So taking that off. We also have these snakes coiled around her arm. And I think this is really cool. They like shoot lasers out of their eyes or something. So taking them off of her and sort of unencumbering her a little bit from these serpents. Just trying to get them off is a little bit difficult, but maneuvering them is fine. So they're little snakes right over here. They're Cobras. They're like mechanical or something. Robots. That's pretty neat. I like these a lot. They have gold. They're silver. Tiny little dots for eyes. They have like a bunch of eyes, which is kind of weird. They also have guns pointing out from their mandibles, or at least fangs. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They're really neat. They can coil around her arm, and this looks super cool doing that. The Baroness also has two guns. One gold gun right over here. Looks really good. Painted to gold. Putting that back. Another gold gun. Same exact thing. Putting that back. So yeah, and I also gave her the briefcase from Destro. I got a spare of that. Same exact thing as before. It can pop open and show off money and a computer. Looks pretty neat. Sigil here for Cobra. Sigil here for Cobra. It's a little different than the other one. I don't know why. Just strikes me as such. And finally, the Baroness. Actually, you know, honestly, this is all she comes with. All this stuff right here in this thing. And the coil bike. All the other stuff is just extra. I'm grateful to have it. But let's just go over her real quick. She has a bunch of Cobra insignias on her. She is a nut for Cobra Commander. And I think she, you know, is in league with Destro as far as romance goes, which is pretty neat. I've always loved that aspect of the relationship. Two villains falling in love. It's always been interesting to me. I don't know. Guess I deserve love too. For villains at least. So, going over her, she has really sleek body armor. She has very like matte parts up here with some shininess, you know, peeking in here. The belt is matte. Her chest armor is shiny. And yeah, it just looks really cool. It's a nice combo of matte and shiny parts. And this little gold buckle right here is a nice touch. It's pretty neat, really cool. Almost like a little drawstring kind of thing. The Cobra sigils are painted very well. They're awesome and look really cool. It's a little muted more so than the other figures, but I think it looks great on her, which looks nice. Her glasses are painted very well. They're gold and a little bit of black with clear lenses. There's actually lenses there, which is pretty neat. You know, you can't take them off or anything. They're kind of glued to her. I haven't really tried. I don't see the point. She looks great with them on. But yeah, we also have a sort of like a armor right over here for her shoulder armor, and then a snake shoulder armor that I noticed the other day. I didn't really take her out that much, but there's a snake, you know, sort of striking on her shoulder right over here with the fangs out and everything. That's really cool. I love that a lot. Looks nice. Her belt is in an X. It's very floaty, but you want to get some good articulation out of that, so you want to have it floaty to move to accommodate for different posing and stuff. Her hair is really cool, but it does hinder articulation a little bit. It looks nice, really good. I wish it was a little more jagged on the bottom, a little more variation, but she's very clean cut, clean cropped. I mean, just look at this silhouette here. You know, it's just very, just iconic to Baroness. Everyone loves the Baroness. I wonder why. But she does, you know, make herself a formidable threat against the G.I. Joes and a really worthy adversary for them. So kudos to them for not making her a sex symbol and making her an actual credible villain for the Joes to fight. Bravo. So let's go to articulation. Swivel up here, down, and up. The hair looks really weird, I gotta say. So just having your head up, not really looking down all that much. If you want to, you don't want to pose her like this. You want to pose her like this, so the hair is kind of hidden a little bit, you know. But it works out really well. It works pretty fine. The neck and head can move independently. Can't really look up all that well because of the hair, but I'm fine with this. She just stands around giving orders to the troops. Up with this one, down. Up with this one, down. Not really hindered all that much by the shoulder padding right over here. No swivel. I'm kind of weirded out by that at the bicep. It's kind of weird. Single jointed elbows too. They really need to go back and fix her or something. Because, I don't know. The articulation leaves a lot to be desired as far as the upper torso of the Baroness. Swivels around on that, so that's fine. You can kind of, you know, you can't really cross her arms, which is a shame. You could have her sort of just, I don't know, just put her hands on her hips, I guess. All these Cobra sigils are really cool. That's really neat. Seeing them all. I don't really, you know, take her out of the shelves, as I said before. Swivels around over here. It's a gun hand, so it goes down and up, you know. And then this one, same thing, down and up. And then her belt's floaty. Swivels at the top here. It's a ball joint, and on the bottom too. You know, get some nice range out of that. Crunch down, crunch back up. Swivels, of course. Drop down hips, of course she does, as everybody else. Very far out, pretty good. Not as far as I'd like it to be, which is kind of a shame. Up with the hip, and then back with the hip. And then swivel at the top, which breaks this sculpt, sadly. Goes up this far. Her armor inhibits it a little bit. No calf swivel at the bottom with the boot. Up and down right here. And then ankle pivot and 2 peg holes at the bottom of the feet. She does have a hard time standing sometimes, but you know, you just gotta finagle her sculpt a little bit. She does have detents on her feet that kind of prevent some posing, so a note on that. But she looks amazing otherwise. She's a great villainess. and a great character, and I'm just glad to have her in the collection, especially with the coil. So real quick, just putting her on the coil is pretty simple. Just drop her hips down, move forward, up. There's some pegs over here you gotta just connect her boot to. I mean, it isn't that easy in hindsight, you know, putting her on this thing. I don't really have her on it. I put Destro on this thing. He looks good on it. I don't know. This is a better bike for like Cobra troops or something. Yeah, it's really hard to get her on. I wouldn't put her on, but she does fit on it, you know, pretty nicely. These aren't as much a pain to put on. These handholds right over here. Well, now they are a pain. I don't see it to be really all that worth it to have her on the bike. You know, I just like her, you know, not as a field operative all that much. But they want to put her on a bike, so yeah, it's just really difficult to put her on the bike. For me, at least. I don't know, your mileage may vary. You may not be constrained by the YouTube algorithm and the views and the amount of stuff. And as I ramble, she actually goes on. She can't really fit into the stirrups all that well, I don't think. And she doesn't really sit flush with the bike. But she can totally rock it where she could just like looks pretty good on the bike. Yeah, that's kind of fine by me. You know, she has these guns that can just like pew pew. She can steer the thing a little bit left and right. And it's a good bike, yeah. When unencumbered by all the extra accessories I gave her, she actually can ride the bike, and it works out really well. Maybe behind her I could stash this, you know, so she's like sitting next to it. And it just sort of like, you know, maybe adds a little bit of just some sort of stuff. And then you could probably coil these snakes around here to give a little more firepower or something. Or even coil them around the exhaust in the back. Maybe. I'm not sure. Or you just put them, you know, one in the front, one in the back. Just trying to figure this out. But yeah, this is getting kind of long, so I'm just going to go over the height then. So here's Destro and the Baroness on the bike, and I think it looks way better than the Baroness just on the bike. You know, seeing as it was a nightmare to fit her on there. He just works so much better on here. His hands fit way better into the handles, his feet fit way better onto the stirrups, and his butt fits better onto the bike itself. Even though it hovers a little bit, it still looks much better like he's riding it than the Baroness does. This is the variant with the circle head, by the way, for Destro, which I found a really good way to use him in this capacity, so that works out great. The Baroness is in the back with her guns shooting out. The guns really fit really well in her hand, and she just poses well on this bike, sitting aside from Destro, fighting the Joes like they both love to do as they ride off in their sort of love chariot here. So yeah, I just thought I'd pose these guys and check them out, and yeah, Destro looks great on this thing. It's awesome. Matches his color scheme better too. Regarding the coil, from wheel to wheel, it's around 9 inches, and then from wheel to the back of the bike, it's around 9.5 inches, and the Baroness herself stands at about 6¼ inches tall. Here's the coil and the Baroness next to a Cobra Infantry and Jesse Heck Creative. The only number I asked you for is what time it was, lady! Overall, while not the absolute best figure in the line, she's still top tier. The Baroness is really, really cool, and she just looks awesome. She's the only female villain out thus far as a G.I. Joe classified line. The bike is pretty cool, but toyetic. If you get a bunch of them, you can probably use them for some Red Ninjas or some Cobra Infantry, maybe some Troopers. The Baroness works fine for it. Destro fits surprisingly well on it. And I just think she's a great figure herself, despite some articulation issues. She comes with a lot of great stuff, and if you can, pick up 2 of them just for the extra accessories and maybe another bike for somebody else. But yeah, the Baroness is awesome. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more G.I. June on Jesse Heck Creative. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Heck Creative. Feel free to click like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment. You can also visit us at jesseheckcreative.com, where you'll find more reviews like this one. Thanks again for watching, and keep being creative. Stay tuned.